More on Black Friday and the holiday shopping season. We're joined by Britt Beemerm. He is the chairman and founder of America's Research Group. Britt, thanks very much for joining us on this Black Friday.
Well, thank you.
We know consumer spending makes up about 70% of the U.S. economy, and we here are used to the chaos that ensues the day after Thanksgiving. But we're noticing this shopping phenomenon spread to Asia and London. Why is it just happening now?
Well, I think it's taken a long time for people to realize the power of Black Friday. And of course, what makes Black Friday unique in America has always been the fact that it's the only one day of the year when retailers advertise an exact number of how many they have on sale. So I mean, it adds extra credibility. When I asked consumers a year ago of those that shopped on Black Friday, could they have found a lower price either before or after Thanksgiving, only 7% said yes. So it's a unique day, and other retailers around the world are following those practices, which say to tell consumers, we only have 1,000 of these or 5,000 of these, and consumers respond to those kind of messages.
Yeah, so if you want to get out there early. Well, the early word is spending is going up this year, at least in the U.S., perhaps riding the coattails of an improving economy. And certainly retailers want to expand Black Friday to a multi-day event. We saw that as many merchants open their doors in the U.S. on Thanksgiving, the holiday, about 6 p.m. Tell us about that, trying to draw this out as much as possible.
Well, our numbers have suggested that Thursday may very well have nearly as many shoppers as Friday this year. But the difference is our numbers also show that many of the shoppers last night were young people. And one of the things that we saw happen was that almost 50% of parents instructed their kids to go buy that TV or computer, and they were not going to sacrifice their Thanksgiving Day dinner to go stand in line. So that's bad news for retailers, though, because what that means is those retailers did not get those add-on sales, because those young people went into the store with exact instructions of what to buy. And even though I think you saw incredible numbers yesterday, they may not have been the most profitable day for retailers.
Interesting. At what point is all of this too much for retailers? So much of the profit rests on this run up to the Christmas season, and they keep trying to draw it back and back as much as possible.
Well, as you know, retail has struggled in the last few years in America. Matter of fact, even though we've had some increase in sales over the last few years, our numbers say the number of units have been down when you consider inflation. I think this year things will be a little bit better. I think sales will be up maybe 2.8 to 4% max. But there's a lot of issues out there that nobody talks about. I mean, this year you've got about 6 or 7% of consumers that have more debt this year than a year ago. On the other hand, you've got 7% of consumers who are going to go to cocktail parties and big events this year, which means they're going to buy a lot of clothing and apparel and also jewelry to go to those parties. So you got offsetting groups there that are either going to force spending up or force spending down, depending on which group you're in.
Also in the U.S. this year, it's different because of what happened in Ferguson. In the U.S., there are now protests hooked to the shooting of the young unarmed man in Ferguson. And that has spread to other parts of the country. What impact do you think this is going to have on holiday shopping?
I think it's going to be negligible. Matter of fact, what's so unique is for the first time in my 27 years of studying Christmas, we surveyed consumers last night of what they bought on Thursday. It is the first time that guns showed up above 2%. 4.5% of consumers said they bought a gun on Black Friday. So I mean, on Thursday night. So I mean, I think the Ferguson thing I think is a negative issue, but it's hard like these protests against Walmart over the years. They never show up as a big number. I mean, last year, 0.2% of consumers said they weren't going to shop at Walmart because of the protests. You have to realize, retail is a huge phenomenon. It takes a major catastrophe to change those consumers' ideas about what they want to buy and what they need to buy. Because keep in mind, the one thing that makes this day unique, you have virtually entire Americans are all home on Thursday. They look at the paper, they look at the inserts, they go online, look at the inserts, they go buy a paper, and they look and see what the deals are. And they have those targeted stores they go to, electronics, computers. Have always been the big hot button. And you saw this weekend, huge numbers at Walmart buying all those TVs. And I think Best Buy hurt themselves this year because they started really at higher price points, and they didn't get into those lower price points for the masses.
Interesting. Let's look forward to Cyber Monday. So it's so much easier than fighting the crowds. How has Cyber Monday matured over the last number of years?
Well, as you know, in the beginning, it was kind of a concept that was made up, by somebody, thinking it's a clever name. I think what's happened is that more and more internet retailers are offering better and better deals. The problem is that what holds the internet back is that most people who go online and then don't buy are turned off by the shipping and handling costs. So those internet sites on Cyber Monday that attack free shipping and handling are going to benefit because that's the biggest negative out there. And that's always been the problem with Amazon is, they've done huge amounts of volume, but they've yet to make a profit. So, their low cost of shipping and handling has been a drawback. I think it'll be up a little bit this year, but nothing like people talk about. I mean, we're not talking about, tens of millions of people. We're talking about a group of consumers out there who are really big on internet shoppers, and the number of consumers that are shopping are growing. But what's happening is they're grabbing more and more dollars of those shoppers that are buying. And last year we saw a lot of consumers on Cyber Monday actually buy gift cards to send to all their friends and relatives rather than shop at all.
Great. Britt Beemerm, America's Research Group, we always appreciate your insight, and have a great holiday day down there in Orlando.